Greetings, everyone. My name is Nabil Trimazi from AIBD, and I welcome you all. Good morning for the people, for the friends, colleagues who joined from the west side of Malaysia. Good afternoon, who are joining from Malaysia and plus minus time zone, and also good evening to those people, those participants, those friends who have been joined to the eastern side of Malaysia. Today we are talking about the trends in OTT for community media. We know the power of community radio, but now it has been empowered with the new media, the internet, all its applications, and it has also got now a visual face as well. What are these opportunities? What are the challenges? What are the successful case studies and some failures as well? We have a long lineup of content, but without further ado, according to the agenda, I would like to invite Miss Philomena Nana Pragasam, Director AIBD, and a very well-known name in the industry of radio, to to control the stage for her opening remarks. Madam Philomena, the grid is all yours.
So greetings, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us in this global webinar on OTT platforms and community radio. So I think when we talk about OTT, most of the time it's about television, right? And here today we are exploring radio, community radio, which personally, as a radio person, I feel that community radio is the way forward in the future. I hope I'm clear, right? And so today we are pretty happy because we're joined by so many community radios from all across Asia Pacific and also other regions globally. And we are excited to have Mr. Jason Wee, who is a broadcasting consultant all the way from South Korea. So what you're listening in today is something that we have talked about as of last year. And as last year, Mr. Jason Wee and AIBD, we've been having many discussions on community media and also on OTT platforms and so forth. So here we are with a brand new talk for you, and I hope that the region benefits from this. So without much ado, I'd like to get this going, and let's hear what our expert has to say. And all of you, I hope you're vibrant and ask many questions, because this is something which is really looking into the future of community radio. All right, thank you.
So according to the agenda, we will be having an hour-long presentation by Mr. Jisung Wee, which is divided into 3 portions. And after that, we will be having a moderated discussion where we are honored to join by some big names of Asia Pacific region in the industry of community media. And after that, we will be taking some questions. While question and answer sessions, you can also write your questions in question answer section. And during the Q&A session, we will be pushing all of the participants to the grid. But till now, Mr. Jason Wee will be on the grid. So if you cannot turn your webcam or audio, it's perfectly fine. All right. So now I would like to invite our consultant, Mr. Jason Wee, who is from South Korea. He is also the president of Visung Systems. Mr. Jason Wee is a broadcasting consultant from South Korea. For over 30 years, he has been working with organizations like KBS, R&D, ETRI, RAPA, KEA, IITP, and MSIT, Ministry of Science and ICT of South Korea, as consultant for UST, HDR, and IP-based broadcasting infrastructure. Currently, his main focus is on IP-based broadcasting, production technology for OTT non-linear TV. We will be also talking about that today, and remote production and advanced broadcasting technology through smartphones. So I would like to invite Mr. Jason Wee. Mr. Jason Wee, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Director, and I'm grateful to be here. So today's session is very interesting to me. Today's subject is a new OTT community TV concept from community radio stations. Before I start that, I have to make sure something that all idea in here is mine, so all the responsibility is mine, and all of concept and design idea and lecture and all in this session is made by my own idea, so take it with a grain of salt. Lecture does not represent any product which I mentioned here today. Major item in this design can be changed by other products. The product in this lecture is to meet the minimum requirements. So the different condition, other products can be used better. All the cost estimation in the lecture is based on manufacturer specification and announced price in the US, okay? Now, we have I separate by section 3. Section 1, OTT community TV concept, state of community radio in the time of pandemic and prepare for the future. Section 2, basic structure of OTT community TV production using IP-based modern tech broadcasting system structure. Section 3, next level production system with radio studio conversion. So after that, we will have a Q&A and discussion. So section 1, OTT community TV concept. As most of people here is from the community radio. I didn't know that much about community radio until the director introduced me. In Korea, actually, the concept of community radio, like other countries, is not there. So during the study, I learned a lot, and I admire your effort, and your helping to the community is great. Last several decades, your help to the community was great. So last year's community radio has a very hard time, but they helping the pandemic, and it was proven that the community radio has a lot of good reason to be in the media side. Okay, so did you say something? Oh, okay. But now things are changing. The winter is coming. Due to the uncertainty, community radio will have some hard time. Because as you know, the reader of media before 1920s newspaper. During the 20 to 40, the radio was the leader of the media. About 50 to 90s, radio of media was OTA TV. But now, reader of media is internet and OTT. The many new technology became reality and changing very fast. So, and in the last decade, broadcasts are facing with the big changes, and broadcasting market is changing very fast. Change of media reader is accelerating beyond all people's imagination. Look at this, the radio take 38 to reach the 50 million, TV 13 years, internet 4 years, and Facebook take about just quarter of the year. Unfortunately for the market, the traditional radio is losing their audience around the world because picture is worth 1,000 words, and the video is more popular now than audio only. But linear TV is also losing their viewership faster too. Why? What's replacing linear TV? OTT and non-linear media. Now, internet is beating TV by the OTT and YouTubers. A lot of OTT services exist, like Hulu, Netflix, a lot of things, and many new services coming every day. So OTT service can view same time from the many devices like TV, computer, and mobile device. And as you see here, even with a small smartphone, the people can see, watch, and OTT everywhere when the mobile communication is available. When we say OTT, people are thinking about, oh, OTT is Netflix, but OTT has a many category of the service. First is OTT MVPD type, that's TV channels like IPTV. Second is OTT major, that's Netflix and the Prime Video, something like that. So this OTT broadcasting is the TV station running the OTT business. And OTT content is a professional sport, and especially like a museum, something like that. And last one, OTT mini and micro market is what we were looking into is OTT community TV will be hosted. So it will be hosted in the YouTube, especially YouTube Live. you understand, you have to understand the non-linear TV, the concept of non-linear TV. OTT community TV is non-linear TV based on internet. What is non-linear TV? Now, linear media. The model of traditional linear television program is for the scheduled show to be selected by the broadcaster and the view at the same time. So if the TV station started broadcasting at 5 o'clock in the morning until end of 12 o'clock evening, they cannot stop. There's no stopgap. That's the linear type. And you cannot rewatch again because it's continuous running and over the airwave. Non-linear media is form of media that can be interacted with by consumers, such as by selecting television show to watch through the video on demand type service, by playing a video game, by clicking through the website, or by interacting through the social media. So when we talk about community TV, there's a lot of community TV existing. So community television is form of a mass media in which a television station is owned, operated, or programmed by the community group, or provide television program of local interest known as local programming. So it's something like community radio does. So the difference is OTT-based community TV is using internet and OTT service to be a broadcasting method. We use for the OTT community TV using OTT as delivery method. Best option at this time is YouTube for now. There's several reasons for the reason. First, it is free to deliver program. Not a long time, if you want to do broadcasting something internet, you have to pay for transmission fee to the internet company. The YouTube does provide this as free. And it provides advertising income. If a viewer is good enough, then they will pay you some price. And the search algorithm provides very easy way to people to find your contents. And because it's worldwide service, then everybody in the world can watch your service. And finally, and most of people know how to use it by nowadays. So here, I will suggest a step-by-step approach to create OTT community TV. It's a 5-step plan. Step 1, the development stage. It's TF, task force. It's a planning and study the OTT and video technology for the TV. Every member of the community radio staff should be joined task force. It's separated by 2 groups, engineer group and content group. Engineer group who will be initiating, developing, and making the OTT service, but content group is other people who watch the OTT service and join them as a kind of a user side base. So there's 2 groups. And the station should be give everybody, every step, a selfie stick. It's about $50 or something, and learn about the video creation. So people can experience what the video creation in the smartphone looks like. So they can feel about how the OTT program should be like. At this stage, you have to open the 3 YouTube accounts. One will be main account. So this will be your major channel to broadcast in the future. A testing account. Testing account is a hidden account that you will be testing using this account, and auxiliary channel that if something happened, then you can use this auxiliary channel to use otherwise. So during this stage, learning of latest remote broadcasting technology is critical. Things changing very fast. So what has working now could be not usable in the second stage. So you always look into the newest technology to apply with that. At this time, the management should provide all the support for this stage. Step 2 is the testing and content creation stage for the video. Develop test program and video content creation. Create one video production set to start testing. It is at least 2 camera. I will explain about camera later. And switcher for the live multicam testing. Study use of podcasting internal radio. You have to consider podcasting very seriously and also internal radio. So this is part of the media format which you're gonna have to use. Work with the local supporter who should be module creator. So you encourage you are supported to be a module creator for your future service. And editing and CG testing. You have to have at least have one unit of analysis system to have editing and CG. So you can do a lot of testing with this. And at this point, appoint one person in the engineer to be dedicated for the video operation. Podcast is vital part of OTT-based community media. You should have a daily podcast of local news about 20 and 30 minutes daily. For this daily in the future, this daily podcast should contain video podcast and audio podcast. So people who doesn't have a internet connection in the home could go to public Wi-Fi zone and download the content and watch that and listen that in the home later time. So you don't have to podcast every program, your radio program, just very core program, especially the music is copyrighted material, so you have to be very careful about that. But I'm encouraging your station to go into the podcast. And this is internal radio is optional. Now internal radio is very popular, but surprisingly, because of YouTube type operation, internal radio is not that popular than the YouTube. So this is optional consideration to use as a widening your perspective of your operation. The step 3 is a podcast and test program with the news box. I'll explain about news box later. You have to start podcast operation and daily video news by this time. Create a news box for test and pre-record the daily news. I'm gonna go over that further later in the production stage. Start testing live broadcasting with the test YouTube account. Start to use a main YouTube account for pre-recorded content. So you will take module, I will explain later too, and get that content uploaded to the YouTube. So now people will see your main site with the pre-recorded content. And at this stage, I would like you to have a podcast service. It is essential to have a podcast. The core of is daily news. 20 to 30 minutes should be video and audio podcast. So people can watch and listen your podcast about this daily news. So keep this stage until all staff can keep daily operation. So you have to satisfy that you can learn this every daily without any problem. So you have to keep this stage until everything is working fine. Step 4. Radio studio conversion and live daily news. So regular video service start. Now is the main YouTube content will be uploaded regularly. Full conversion of a radio station for the TV and radio operations to be started by this time. Start daily news program live broadcasting on main YouTube. So before this, actually, you should be testing and things like the pre-recorded content, but this stage used to be starting live broadcasting in the main daily news, about 20 to 30 minutes. Increase the pre-recorded video content in the main YouTube. Start testing a field live production with the pre-recording. It's like one system going to the field and try pre-recording from the field. Live broadcasting of radio operation might be good at start. That means like live stream of what you are doing radio is one of the good idea. So at this time, extensive review by local viewer must be needed. So you have to ask a lot of people what do they think about that and what should be done with the new service. So final stage is live studio production. Regular service using existing radio studio. Regular TV and radio service is now starting. Continuous daily contents. Extended field production is needed to widening coverage. Use module by local people for local contents. Use remote connection to view, like a user Zoom type operation to connect interview and audience checking. Use poster to advertise your channel on the QR code. So what it means is, if people doesn't know your channel exists, they're not gonna see that. So create the poster with the QR code and put in the local. Then they can see and just look at the QR code, the connecting YouTube, then they can subscribe so they can watch YouTube, your channel continuously. The very important thing is a simulcast. Live radio by OTT airwave should be kept. Also, podcast is download service for non-internet connection at home. This should be kept. And YouTube Live, using live YouTube to be live OTT community TV. So this is interesting. So I'm the engineer. Most of the next part will be how to create OTT community TV services production design. Section 2 is a basic structure of OTT community TV production. It's based on IP-based modern broadcasting system structures. This is typical community radio production and studio. I think most of your station looks like this at this moment. Requirement to create OTT community from the OTT radio, there's some difficulty. You should have a limited resource. The income is very limited because you are the non-profit organization. Limited human resource, usually no engineer, no operator are working as a broadcasting engineer in your station. You should have a limited space. Some are very large studio, but most are limited with one audio studio for radio operation. And most of you are very specialized in the audio, but you should have a limited know-how for the video. So little knowledge about video and TV type broadcasting technology. Lastly, I think you have a limited budget, so limited money for purchasing new equipment. So how to solve the problem? So low cost of operation by total content creation. Mostly created by one person or operate by one person is a key point. So only one person go out and take a module type operation and one person to all switching and things like that in the studio. And create the system that easy to training and operate by current staff. So the system must be easy to understand. If it is difficult to understand management, system failure will happen. So system must be organized very easy way. Use current radio studio, same as TV operation at the same time. Use news box for the additional studio for the news operation. So do not create a new studio for TV. You can use your own radio studio, which already you have been using as a TV operation too. Make all the community TV system simple, easy to operate. Not only the simple technology, but whole system must be easy to operate. And limited budget is use adapted, effective, and efficient production and broadcasting system with an inexpensive way. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying don't buy, but try to buy a broadcasting system which is very inexpensive. That's what today's is my core of the introduction is this. The module is core of OTT community TV for content creation. So most of the content will be created by module type operation. That means smartphone is your ENG. Currently, this is what your local community radio station does do, audio recording to make audio news. Module is similar in the video side. There's several advantages of a module. It's a low cost, mobility, safety, and it can do the 4K quality with a transmission that it can do the live streaming and make the job efficient. And because it's small, allow creativity and require experimental job. Video creation with the module, you already have your own smartphone, you should be. So there's no additional cost. And add a little bit about like a module kit, RGB light, and lava mic kit. It only had about $150 to create the module type operation for reporter. If you don't have a smartphone, there's iPod Touch 8th generation, which is coming this year. It's about $400. Add that with the module kit, then all reporting unit can be about $550. It's a US dollar based. Adding the tripod and DSLR lens adapter and DJI Osmo 4 and cardioid mic will help them a lot. So the module, you should have a lot of discussion and training before, so I will stop here. But module is almost very critical for the content creation. So live IP is the core of the old technology which we are using. It's a new way of live broadcasting workflow. It uses a network as a old connection. This was in the broadcasting company at this stage, it use a file-based system to content creation and live streaming system for currently broadcasting. It is converting to IP-based, network-based, the whole structure at this time. Community TV production with live IP production is connected by RAN. So what connecting is everything is by networking capability. Currently, many stations around the world is this IP-based structure. This is a very small Kenya DTT station in Kenya that cover all the area of the Kenya, but they use a very low-cost IP-based system known as NDI to use to production of all their operation. For the larger size production, this is a radio. This is TCS in El Salvador. They operating 3 channel, and they share a lot of common equipment using this IP technology. This is a OTT-based TV station looks like for the small scale. If you see the middle, there's a main studio. Actually, this one studio can act as a mini studio. In the down, it's a studio control room to control all the studio recording as live type. Left side is a main control system that transmitting everything in the OTT. Upper side is a nonlinear system editing room, and the high one is audio editing and also dubbing room. So this is a kind of basic system structure of OTT-based TV station. So I will explain about what the major component of IP-based OTT community TV studio production design. Before I started, this is a very small scale because what I understood is at this session, I assume the community radio has a very little budget. So I try to minimize the system so you can change it to the much higher system later. There's so many solutions to make the live casting system, like very well known is OBS and Wildcast and VMix. But in this session, I'm gonna use program name Switcher Studio. Switcher Studio is very easy to learn. You can learn about 1 or 2 days, and you can master that in about a week. It's learned on the iPad, iOS device. So we use iPad Pro and iPhone and iPod Touch. So this looks like this. So you should understand what I'm talking. So I will show you some video about how it can be done. Just a second.
Switcher Studio is an ultra-portable and flexible video creation tool that lets you record and broadcast live video using your iPhone or iPad. Produce video with a single device for news segments, interviews, meetings, and small events. Or extend your network and set up for multi-camera concert productions, athletics, and more. All you need is an iOS device and an internet connection. Once your iPhone or iPad is online, you can stream your video to popular streaming platforms for others to watch live. You can also use the director mode to capture 1080p HD video, assign a fixed frame rate for broadcast TV, and send the final composition to your computer with Switcher Media Manager to make additional edits in post. Switcher Studio is loaded with features to make your production stand out. Easily customize transitions, zoom with the built-in camera, insert full-screen photos from your camera roll, or add prepared graphics to your production. And when you're ready to go live, hit record and broadcast. If you want to add another camera, connect the device to the same Wi-Fi network, and launch the app. With Switcher Studio, you can add up to 3 additional iPhones or iPads as wireless cameras. Switcher Studio Pro users can tap into advanced features for more robust productions. Bring your computer in as a source with our free SwitcherCast desktop application. Remotely control iPhone or iPod touch cameras with the Motor Galileo. Plug in an auxiliary sound source and broadcast in stereo. Connect headphones for real-time audio monitoring. With AirPlay and HDMI support, you can even send your video to a TV or external display. Ready to get started? Sign up and go live today.
So that was the introduction. It was 4 camera. Now we can do the 9 camera at the same time. And core of the studio is I use iPod Touch and DJI Osmo as studio camera. So what does it do is it does do kind of PTZ type, the dome type operation with very inexpensively. So total cost of the studio camera is cost about $550 in the US. And for the news operation, teleprompter is one of the interesting things. So this teleprompter kit plus 2 iPad is good enough for that. So teleprompter is about $900. And core of this whole system is this iPad Pro and USB hub with the Switcher Studio software. It should be cost about $1,550, and Switcher Studio is $50 per monthly for the each. So it is a monthly charge. Connecting everything is required to have a network. We use a Wi-Fi 6 router and connecting more camera with the PoE hub system, 1 gigabit. This 8 port 1 gigabit Ethernet connecting to the router. So the camera will have a power and network in the one line, and that's the all cost about $400. And this splitter is $10 per 1 unit. You should use your existing the audio system. Add this audio USB I/O, then actually you can make a digital audio input this broadcasting system. So you don't need anything more. But in case of you wish to have something other like a field production, then field 8-channel mixer, or separate group, then podcast type 6-channel mixer, and studio 12-channel mixer is everything is about around $600. So very easy to buy. For the writing, there's 2 types of writing is recommended: softbox writing and the RGB LED type writing. Softbox writing is cover wide area. RGB writing is focus in the close area, and actually you can change the color to change the mood. It's for the very inexpensive. Night lighting is about $900 to buy. To make this system housing inside the structure, there's the community radio station is very cramped. So I use a hanger system to equipment housing for the studio. If you go to put the tripod type, you will not have a space. But using this hanger type system, it is easy to make that. And it's cost about $360 for 3 units. So now I'm gonna go to the first step of creating Newsbox. Newsbox. For the community radio station, there's not much space for the regular video studio. And when you start something like that, you are already doing the radio operation. You can interrupt that for the testing. So it's continuous thing. So you create new small space to have a video type testing and regular news broadcasting. That's what I call news. This is concept of Newsbox is the starting point. It's my own study. Newsbox concept is make a smallest video station for news and other video testing. What is Newsbox? Newsbox first concept is corner of office. Use corner of your leftover office. So it looks like this. This corner of the office, then use a partition with the soundproofing panel attached to the partition to create the small device. The size is a 3 by 3 meter or 4 by 4 meter. It can house one person as a video reporting anchor and one engineer. If you see that there's two writing upper hand, and in there's two pole. This two pole is holding the right and the middle. There is a housing for the camera. And the anchor is sitting with the panel background, which can be printed, so you can see that as your own company looks like, so it will be much nicer. And there's one TV left of the anchor will show the content of what the program content is like. And this is the viewpoint for the operational point. There's one operator operating. In the middle is an iPad Pro, which is switching. Left is two iPad. One is the content showing for the what the next program is like, and the second iPad is playing the video. And the iPad in the left side is monitoring YouTube content, that if it is broadcasting right or not. Upper side, there's a 4 monitor. Upper left is the live broadcasting. Upper right is the first iPad. Second iPad is playing in that too. So you can watch that, how it is, the quality is good. And actually the one in the down left is the auxiliary unit. In case of something you can put in there, like a Zoom type operation, you will show that in here. So with this 2 camera, 1 prompter, 5 TV monitor, 1 switcher, 2 iPad, and lighting network, and even with the audio mixer, it costs about $6,000 for that. So if you have a space is a little larger, then you can use 2-person office. This is very good because you can use 2 anchor, but when it used other than the news, actually you can do the talk show type, like somebody invite and you can have a kind of talk show type with a 1 person. So you can do the making. It's a little bit larger than the one which I showed it, but same equipment, but adding some more camera and lighting. So this is how it looks like in there. So that cost about $7,500 if add up with the 2 more camera. That's all in it. So if the corner is available, that's okay. But if your studio and your radio station is very noisy, then there's another option. Create the soundproofing room type news box. This is a very small size soundproofing box in Korea. The reason is in Korea, we are living, most of our country is in the apartment. If you make very big noise, the neighbor is complaining. So in here, if you want to have a play music or study hard or do the gaming, they buy this very small soundproofing box located inside of their room. So we use this concept. It's cost about $2,000 for 1.7 meter by 1.7, and you can be larger by larger system, about $6,000 or larger. You can proving with the inside of that is a lot of soundproofing. There's no sound out, so it's very isolated. And this is how it is constructing inside of a room. This is how this looks like. So using this, we can create one room for the anchor to be doing the news broadcasting, and the operator can be outside of the box to broadcasting over there. So it looks like same equipment. But this is indoor, so you can separate by audio. But if you don't have a space inside of your station to be made, you can make a little bit larger size soundproofing system. So you can housing 2 person, 1 for the anchor, 1 for the operator, and put it in the outside of your station to make it workable. So this is concept. Okay, so this news box needed, so you can test everything in there without interfering with the current normal the radio broadcasting. And also it can be like emergency type. You have to have some emergency broadcasting. This can be used for the emergency broadcasting news type or other type of operation. So you should be creating this first to make testing, and you can use this a lot of time. So now we go for the studio type. Okay, let's think about this. Usually community radio should have a studio, but there's a lot of a studio who doesn't have a studio. So this is condition for the no studio type. So there's a community TV with no studio but table only, like this. See, people put the mic in it and they speak inside of an office. So this is very, very small community radio. So in US, they converted the tabletop as a very small studio like this for the music. That's radio station in the Europe, the USA. The red circle is, there's a two red circle in there is camera. The blue circle is iPad, is act as a switcher, also act as a third camera. So you have a 3 camera with this system. And here is a table. You put the 4 camera in there and the 1 operating iPad as whole operation. So this is already been doing that. So I applied this very extreme way. So this is, I think, is possible with the 2 table combining with the 4 lighting and almost 4 camera with the teleprompter. So upper left hand is anchor and hoster. He is operating. And the right side actually is LCD TV as like information display. So that's it can be useful for news reporting too. And they can invite about 2 persons to be in the side so they can have a talk show. In the video, there's a 180-degree rule. So if you see 180 degree from bottom of the right to upper left corner, if you draw the line, that side is not visible. So only camera sees, so people doesn't see any other equipment. So this is a very good design for the very, very small space. This is looks like this. And the operator is sitting in the part of the table. That cost about $6,000 too. So for the table only. But if you have a space with a like a normal office room, it can be converted to with a sound panel. So this is the case that can be converted to sound panel. It's table over. This doesn't have a soundproofing. It's the office converted to the community radio. So I will give you a very good example studio in US that how they did it. This is the Pecan local community radio in South Carolina. So this looks very interesting, but it was before like this. This is old radio studio, the 1 table with the 4-person can, 1 audio mixer. This was their old radio studio. They wished to go to the video production. So they selected their home. This is their home. And they covered soundproofing material to the window. So they attached the soundproofing material to window and wall. And this is what they got. Okay, so with this, actually, they can play all the broadcasting like this. The host is in the green. He is operating all the switching. There's a 4 to 5 camera attached to the top of the ceiling, so it does not interfere with it. So this is very working. They made this about early last year and it's operating very well. This is how does it looks like in the audio mixer and the video switching. The person who is here is the operator and owner of this station. With this system, actually, he does do a lot of field production. This is the field production for the music concert out of that. And the left is a political kind of a special program. Just he's carrying this thing around for the field production. This is another little bit larger size of it. So you can place a camera in the wall, and in the bottom, you can place another table to have all the system in over there. So with this concept, I made a simple design, same thing, but a little bit not cramped design with a 2 table plus minus 1 table and 6 writing. And the corner of there's a small table for operator to sit in, and it can work like this. So this is how things be configured. So with this, actually, that total cost of that should be about $9,000. So this is, I think, most of people who doesn't have a community studio is working like that. So if you have a studio, actual studio, you can go much higher. This is a typical community radio station designed by UNESCO. So this was the idea from the UNESCO how to do the community radio. So this is the 3D image of what the studio will be looks like. So when it comply with the audio, the community radio, then this is table and the mixer inside of it. So they use it. So if I convert it to the community video station, this will be looks like. I call the operating system as a command center. So all the operating is done in the command center. Very simple. You just have a small space to add the video stuff. There's a mixer in the audio, but you add very small. That's why I chose an iPad Pro as the average system. So add that should be good enough. And as you see, we put the pole, the hanger system, so we can housing all the lighting and the camera in it. So it's easily available. And in the back of the machine room, then actually there's a table for 2 persons for the editing and the CG station. So this is a basic idea for the community radio station to be converted to community TV station. Let's apply this to actual real the community radio. This is Radio Hirakanda in India. I collected many of the picture of this studio. So I assumed the design by how their studio looks like. So this is I assumed this as their audio station structure. So there's a separate radio studio, and the left is a machine room they operating in there. So if I convert this to the community TV station, this will be looks like. This is the command center. So you add up, move audio system a little bit to the left, and you make a space, then put it in there and add 4 TV in front of that to cover the same thing as what I showed before. And this you can add lighting system, same as before, but this table is collapsible, removable. So you can move out very easily anytime. So you can do another thing like music concert and singer. You can change this everything. This is very movable. It's not fixed. But the lighting system and the camera system is over there. Every camera is gimbal-based, operate remotely from the iPad. So that's why I put the iPad Touch with the gimbal system in there. So all the camera is operate in the iPad Pro. And you can add, this is the corner of the part is like a news box. So it can usually be as a news type operation too. So let's make a little bit large. Let's apply this to one of the Akol Yam FM station in the South Sudan. The difference with this is actually they have a larger soundproofing studio, which is quite large. So we can use this as multi-stage community TV station. So if you see this, you can watch, there's a reporter room and another small room which can build inside of it. So we can convert this. So this is my assumed design of that community radio studio. So there's a reporter, and in the office, and there's a machine room, and there's restroom. I converted this to this one. So this is multi-stage studio. What does mean is one studio does have a 3 small studio in it. Let's look at that. If you see that the room, there's a main studio with at least 2 hosts and maximum 6 guests can sit in. So all the camera is watching. Left side is a table with the command center. There's 2 or 3 people can sit and operating the whole construction. So main is like this. This is command center, 2 to 3 person with adding up about notebook and more iPad controlling and add up. And in the corner of that, there's news station covered by soundproofing partition. So it can act as a news station for other program during this main studio is changing over and something happened, then it can be used for this. And in the corner of that, you put the 2 sofa and the camera, so it can be talk show section. You can do the very good talk show in this kind of environment by changing the mood. In the report room, you can put the 1 camera in the 1 partition. So it's like a remote live news broadcasting. Like during the live broadcasting, you can call a reporter, so he can report from this booth. In the outside of a studio, if they have the news box is located outside the building, so you will have about 5 news studio in the very small studio like this. And for the main control, the reason is this is main control is you have a 5 studio connecting with this. So actually you can do several programs at the same time and transmitting from here. Actually, this use OBS or Wirecast or other solution to cover it, but it is needed for the much wider and the much advanced production design. The other one is all of that is studio design. So live production, field production is very important. So how do you do this? You can put all the system which I mentioned in one box. So this looks like this. So you can carry it around that and operating like this, like put the whole system in the pole and camera position is like this. Then you can do, whenever you go, you can broadcasting live from field. So it can be usable for the emergency broadcasting. You can live report from disaster area. Community event, local conference can be done lively. Live broadcasting of a local event. Local conference, like a school board meeting. And there's some government announced, local government event can be lively broadcasting. The political election, like local election debate can be live broadcasting. Also some very important political debate can be done. This is one of the interesting is in the entertainment section. You can do the local song contest. This is a picture of one of our local stations in Korea. Interestingly, this generates 17 million viewers. And this is about 4 hours long. About 17 million people saw this. It's the regular people do the song contest and just with the 1 camera. And it worked very fine. With this, actually, you can do local music concert indoor, or you can do the music concerts outdoor. You can go to the very important person's house to do the interview. So everything can be possible. One of the area which might be very interesting is the sports broadcasting. This will generate a lot of interest in the local people. This is for the case is baseball broadcasting. This is for the basketball. The person on the upper side is an operator because he has to follow all the movement of the action. So there's one cameraman. Actually, usually in US, that cameraman could be the operator, but I recommend the operator and the cameraman separately. You put a lot of iPad Touch and iPhone in the bowling tournament. So they did about 4-hour bowling tournament live broadcasting in US too. Religious service broadcasting is one of the interesting parts. In your area, if there's need for the broadcasting of religious service, then this is very doable, very easily, like this. And you can do a webinar like what we are doing now with this system, connecting with the Zoom type operation. Education is very important. So you can do the educational programming with this type of operation. So what I assumed is usually this is what I think is community radio schedule for a weekly schedule. Like I heard about people usually do 3 hours in the morning session and 3 hours in the afternoon or evening session. So about 6 hours of broadcasting daily. With the whole studio and the field broadcasting combining, you can create community TV service program like this. So I have interestingly, I have 3 minutes. So I will have a very quick conclusion. How to be a successful OTT community TV. Okay. Now, after all this, you created a community TV. So you have to know about something. Even though you are the non-profit, you have to make a profit to survive. So you need to have a requirement to create OTT community TVs monetizing. You have to make at least the minimum amount to make a surviving. So what's the difference? Remember this, about 96.5% of YouTubers don't make money. Okay, this is the case. You make very fancy video and you have editing a lot, spend about $100 or $200 to create one 10-minute clip, which is generating 50 cents. That's the usual. So you have to plan very carefully about what content you should be making. I will give some example. This is one of the best nonlinear TV model in Korea is Sampro TV. Their subscription, they started in the 2019. After 1 year, the subscription at the time is 26,000. And the last day is grown to the 924,000 at December of last year. Today, their subscription is 1,170,000. So what does they do? They have a in the morning, they have a 2-hour morning stock market reporting. Afternoon, after the stock market closing, they have a 2-hour aftermarket close show. In the evening, they do the global live, which is reporting about stock market and economic of the overseas, like the US. So in the morning session, they are viewed by about close to 80 to 90,000 live. And all viewer, after they finish it, they view later about close to 200,000 daily. For the aftermarket close, they generate 20 to 25,000 live. Global live, they have a close, aftermarket close is about 30 to 40,000. Global live is 20,000. So they generate a lot of viewership. So their studio is this one, very small. So it's not a size of a studio as how you do it. It's content. What people like. So this is final. To be successful OTT community TV, I say, let's make content that what people wanted to see, not you wanted to make. So this is my final say. Thank you. And we will go to the Q&A. So Nabil, could you take over? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. V. And I hope that the audience really liked your session, and we are really humbled by the way we are getting the feedback in our inbox, in our Facebook page, and obviously the chat box. So if I can see yes from everyone that if they had enjoyed the session and they want to enjoy more of it. All right, for the next session, just for the reference of housekeeping rules, those friends who have joined us on our Facebook page, if they can kindly introduce themselves, their name and their organization, and from which country they are, for our record on Facebook. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Amal Punchi Hiva. We will be having a moderated discussion. Just a moment, if I can add him. Dr. Amal Punchihiva is quite a famous name in the field of broadcasting technology. I would say that he's the scientist of the broadcasting industry, and he will be moderating the session. And we are honored to have some very strong names from the region and of Asia Pacific region, and also a broadcaster from Canada as well, who has a very big experience in the field of community radio, especially related to disaster management. So, but without further ado, I would like to hand over the mic to Dr. Amal while I'll add the panelist to the grid. Dr. Amal, over to you.
Thank you, Nabil. Thank you. While you're adding them, I'll remind them, the audience, who will be in the panel. So we have Mr. Rob Hopkins from Canada, and he's bringing some expertise in the disaster management area where the community radio is used. And then the Dr. Sridhar from India, and then he's looking into the education side of the use of community radio, and then Mr. Pokral from Nepal, and he's looking into the social development side of aspect using the community radio. But last but not least, Mr. Baslu Rahman, he's from Bangladesh, and then he will looking also at how the community radio can be used in social development. So good to have you all in the panel, and thank you once again, Mr. V, for your presentation. So maybe about 15 minutes, we will do a very quick panel discussion. Let me start asking you, I'm sure you may have followed the presentations, and then because we have a very limited time, I want each one of you to sort of tell in few sentences, taking 2 to 3 minutes maximum, how do you see or use the community radio in the context that you are working in that area and in your country. So if I first look into Mr. Rahman, could you explain briefly how you use the community radio, and then how you see the presentation today would see some throw some way forward?
Yeah, but thank you very much, our honorable moderator. First of all, I would like to congratulate to the AIBD for organizing this type of a very, very important workshop regarding OTT, because OTT now is our survival strategy. OTT not only buzzword, over the top is our survival strategy, because in Bangladesh, community radio station day by day losing their audience, only audio format. But in Bangladesh, 5G also prevailing at the door. So very soon, Bangladesh will start the 5G operation. So on the other hand, due to the COVID-19 situation, our advertisement situation also go down. So our most of the listeners now listening their radio through mobile. So you know, within 2-3 years, 90% audio content be shifted to shifted as a video content. So video is our another one survival strategy, survival matter. So I think with this point, I think this is a very important, how we shift ourselves, how we reskilling, upskilling, and also de-skilling our community media sector towards using the OTT platform. And it is a very, very important thing. And also at the same time, Bangladesh on the way to develop a OTT guideline by the Ministry of Information. So it's a very, I think, favorable thing for us also. So with this, I would like to end here, and we would like to organize the OTT, this type of orientation for Bangladeshi Bangladeshi community radio holder, so that they can shift themselves through OTT as a visual platform. Though we have some visual, we call visual community radio station in Bangladesh, most of the station now trying to broadcast their program through both format, so using the spectrum and as well as using the social media like this. So with this, again, I would like to thank the AIBD for organizing this very important session, and I must congratulate to the speaker, Mr. Wee, for very, very knowledgeable presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rahman. Yeah, so I would like to next first move to Rob, and then move on to the director of AIBD, Mr. Philomena. But let's get Rob on board to talk. Listen from Canada. How in Canada you see the role of community radio, because you are especially looking at into disaster communication management area. So can you throw some ideas and then integrate with the presentation, Rob, in a few minutes? Thank you.
Up somebody there. I think I can see everything. Yeah, Rob Hopkins from the Yukon Territory. It's nice and cold out, about 35 below Celsius. It's supposed to be minus 56 up north, which is crazy. So we're stuck in home. Hey, Basler, how you doing there? Long time no see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I wish I was at your place, a little warmer. Holy. But yeah, community radio, community TV. Not much for community TV in Canada. I think there's actually 6 official community TV stations in Canada. Very, very small segment. Community radio, we have 300 plus community radio stations in Canada. Just going back to the presentation, I found very interesting, Mr. Yee, some of the thing about community radio, you have to keep relevance. Why is your radio station relevant? There's so many different choices now, tens of thousands of YouTube channels. So content is king, local content is king. That's what's going to keep you in business. And, the part about emergency disaster notifications, that's the space that I'm in. I write software to tie in with these emergency networks, and then to be able to broadcast those messages unattended. So if there's a tsunami at 3 o'clock in the morning, then that message can be cut in automatically. Facebook, interesting. I have a lot of indigenous broadcasters in North America use our systems. And I'm surprised the feedback I'm getting right now is that they're telling me that their local community radio station is more relevant than any of the social media and Facebooks of the world. They want to get people away from Facebooks. I'm not telling anybody how to do your business either. Just some feedback. What happened can happen with like Facebooks. They could censor the material, chop it off. So much fake news. When people listen to a local radio station and particularly a voice that they know, then there's a level of trust there. Another thing that I'm really sticky about when I work with indigenous groups, First Nation groups, putting their content and their heritage and their cultural stories, putting it into social media and into Facebook and into Google's, and using those as lockers to hold their material. That's actually really dangerous. Because once they've put that material out there, they've lost control of their intellectual property. So I'm really, really sticky about how they should share their material. I just give advice. And so one way is that they have a central repository of their information that they keep control of, and then they can publish it out to the YouTubes and the Googles, and then they still retain the control of their intellectual property. Really interesting stuff in that presentation. The technology, you can see I'm a tech guy here. I like seeing all these different things. A lot of people don't have money, even when you talk about $6,000 US, you lost a whole bunch of people there. They go, yeah, sorry, I don't have it. But anyhow, one of the other things that we should try to do whenever we formulate one of these schemes is how to minimize the workflow. and pieces and processes. So really become efficient. You know, the technology, all this broadcasting stuff, this isn't the problem. The challenge we have is it takes so many people to stitch all these pieces together and run all these things, and then you have problems and the thing doesn't work. So how to become more efficient? You know, the way that we you know, in Canada, in the southern part of Canada, in the cities, like community radio in a lot of the other countries I've been to, they have a studio, they've got staff, volunteers, funding. Some of them are tied to educational institutions and they get tons of funding like that. You know, the places that I work in is really small communities. I just did just doing a project now in a remote community in British Columbia. It's got the whole community has 60 people, like the entire community, and how to make a radio station in a place like that. And so, you know, working in small communities, we do most of our stuff remotely. You know, the studio is the kitchen table. I saw some stuff in a person's house. Yeah, that's great. Everybody's got a kitchen table. You know, the recording studio, it's a smartphone. It fits in your hand now. You don't need a huge pile of equipment. So being able to work remotely. And I've been doing this remote stuff now, geez, 25 years out in the middle of nowhere in the Yukon. And now what's happened with COVID and everything, I hate to bring that word up, but anyhow, now with the new reality, you know, we can't just walk down to the radio station. There's countries right now, you step out of your house to go to the radio station, the police will say, no, you're going back into your house. So a lot of stations are physically locked out, so we have to figure out how to do stuff remotely. And the last part that I was just going to bring up was about master control. We do master control in the cloud. You know, the horsepower of computers and bandwidth and stuff. You know, my vision has always been to use the internet as a communication channel, but to be able to distribute the last mile as FM radio. And, you know, like I say, I'm really surprised now in some of these First Nation Indigenous communities telling me that the radio is more important than any of the other communication tools. And these communities have 4G cell phones, they've got gigabit internet, there's tons of bandwidth, but they want to get people, you know, into the radio side of things. So I guess I could go on for hours, but I don't want to.
No, yeah.
Anybody
Thanks
else?
so much, Rob. Yeah, no. The one important point from you, I want to highlight is the point you raised around the content, not just throw them onto the to the platforms, because you lose control of those content, and they are so valuable. And I think that's a same point Mr. Rahman mentioned on the OTT regulation that's coming up in Bangladesh and in many countries. So if I sort of link this to the presentation and go right to the beginning of it, when Nabil said that we want to talk about what's called the community media. And the term media sort of encompasses the radio, television, and all forms of media, including text, because that could be a blog posted on the internet. So all that is important, and then it has to be a mixer of everything. So I think so we see what came from the presentation, because when Mr. V mentioned that, so there is this over the top or the internet-based content delivery also coming into the radio, which was not seen very much. It's a good thing to broaden the listenership. So with that, I would like to bring Ms. Philomena on board from Malaysia, who is the director of AIBD as well. How do you see in Malaysia the community radio, or your other experience as the director and working with the community, and your own experience a lot in the radio itself? Yes, you worked in the FM sort of a public service broadcasting. I would say the community radio, the community media, also a very important form of public service media. So how do you see all this connection that you listen to Mr. Wee and then the two other panelists, Ms. Philomena?
Thank you, Dr. Amal. Thank you for doing this today. We're very glad to have you because I think when we're talking about something futuristic, Nabil said you are the science of, everything to do with broadcast engineering and more than that, actually. So yeah, thank you to the eminent panelists today. I see a lot of wonderful faces. Dr. Sridhar, Balakrishna, Rob, you finally joined us and showing your video. The last time I only heard your voice. So thank you from 2 degrees Celsius, and you're still with us. I'm really grateful to that. And of course, to Mr. Wee from Korea and my good friend, Mr. Basru Rahman. It's really wonderful to have you because you are a very futuristic person here. And I'm just reading all the chats, Dr. Amal, and I've never seen in any of our webinars this many chats coming up. And I must applaud my dear colleague Nabil and Vasuki. They did a wonderful job. So yeah, so it's so lots of people are very interested. So I would say, Doctor, your question on visual radio, community radio in Malaysia. As you have lived in Malaysia, we don't have a community radio in Malaysia, but RTM, they have 33 state-owned radio stations, which are all from the public broadcaster. So every region in Malaysia, we have a state broadcaster, we call it. So we have 33 altogether. So this covers Borneo as well as West Malaysia. And so has radio gone off? I would, coming from the radio background, and I know that Dr. Sridhar is a great friend. We met each other in Sri Lanka some years ago. So we said that the name radio is old. And 2 days ago, or was it yesterday, I told to Dr. Amal, Doctor, we definitely need a device, radio device, not just the handphone. Because if everything is going inside here, it's very easy to get forgotten. So therefore, I always feel that there needs to be a device. I see Rob with all the devices behind, but actually radio needs to have a face. It needs to have a physical form. And I think that's one way we're going to revive the industry. I was saddened to hear Basler say that community radio will die. So I guess this is why when Mr. Wee presented on, OTT and remote broadcasting, our thought was we should have community radio become more visual. And community radio has the potential to do so much, Dr. Amal and the rest of you who are listening, because that's what it is. People want to know the proximity aspect of radio is so important. And community radio is able to do that. Because today, if you look at all the government radios or commercial radios, they are just a copy of any other European or, for in Malaysia, it's a case of Australia. If you look at the station, it's a carbon copy of what's in Australia. So the aspect of the authenticity of intimate platform that radio is slowly dying off. And we need to bring that back with good content. And so I feel that there's a whole lot of future. So it's just, we need to look at how to revive it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your points, because if I start from where you ended, that's exactly where Mr. Wee ended too, because he said what's more important is the content. And then over there, or whether it's through the broadband, it's just a delivery mechanism. So we need to be conscious of our audience. What do they want? So we need to listen to them, and then we should have a kind of a mix of delivery mechanism. And I picked a very important thing that Rob mentioned, because some of these cloud mechanisms or the internet pipes can be used to do the distribution, but when it's get to the what we call the last mile, just before the audience, just before the listener or the viewer, we could then change the platform. It could be your over-the-air broadcasting, could be on FM, or it could be a community TV station. So that's what we'll bring into that one. So with that, let's move on to Dr. Sridhar from India, because he will probably bring some experiences with the education side. Is it there? Yeah, hello. Welcome to the webinar. And so now, having listened you have a big challenge because I mean, the time I could allocate to each of the rest of the panel is getting shorter, but you are listening to many speakers, the ideas. So how do you sort of combine all the ideas that you got so far and then sort of present to the big audience that we have on the webinar, on the Zoom itself, as well as on the Facebook, to see like some of the roads that the community media, I will start using the word the community media, will take in the future.
Thank you, Amal. I will limit myself to community radio and education, but I just wanted to say thank you to AIBD and thank you to Philomena and Nabil. But I wish Nabil should have streamed it, live streamed it on in some of the podcasting platforms like Spotify or Google Podcast or Apple Podcast also there, because we are talking about radio. I hope next time when we talk about radio, we'll also go to live streaming on podcasting platforms. Like Canada, we also have more than 300 radio stations. 315 is the official figure today. We may reach around 400 in a year or so. We'll be having the largest community radio stations in a few years' time. But unfortunately, the second largest country in the world doesn't allow news in the community radio. But we allow information. So what community radio needs is not news, but what community people need is information, which is allowed. And as Philomena said, we met around 2014 or 15 in Sri Lanka, where we were discussing why change the name of radio, because we are fond of changing the names. Many cities in India are also there, change the name to older days. So let's find out a new name so that the younger generation, the 21st century generation, will get interested in the new name. The podcasting is a old, podcasting is a old name in old wine in a new bottle. Podcasting is what? It was just an internet radio, internet audio. So now you have to call podcast. Think of a new name for radio, which will be visual radio. Okay. Anyhow, it's going to be convergent. And I think DRM and DAB will solve the problem. We don't have to go to OTT platform. DRM is going to give a digital platform, and DAB will also give you a visual radio. And intranet is more important than internet, because community radio is mostly localized. Why do you want my community radio to be heard in Canada today, in New Zealand? I wanted my people, so let me have a closed circuit with my cell phone provider, and then we can have an intranet, which some experiments are going on in India. And e-learning, I am also happy that you mentioned a radio of Hirakhand radio in Odisha, one of the radio stations. See, there are some radio stations which are hyped up in the world. They call it the best radio station. The radio station which are doing silent work. Hirakhand radio is one which is silent work, and I am glad that it got recognition from Mr. B. Okay. And I will love to, before say about education a minute, I would like to say community radio will replace news television. Community radio plus visual is going to replace news television. So community radio will never be dead, Basloor. Don't worry, it is not going to die. It will have a new form. Okay. And then e-learning. Just for the past 1 year, this Zoom has become very popular. The most talked about software in the world. Zoom. In my country, we have got 137, 1.3 billion people, and we have got 1.1 billion cell phone connections. We have got around 600 million people with internet connection. But all the classes are going on, even now the classes are going on online. But do you think a child, primary school child, can watch the small picture in a small feature phone for hours together as a lesson? Why our people never thought of giving it on a photograph of the teacher and then let his voice come in the audio. That's far better than putting unnecessarily. This fellow is writing in a chalkboard, blackboard and chalk. So community radio is the local school teachers in the kind of lockdown day. I'm going to finish it. The lockdown days. Why the people are being asked to video? They know who is the teacher. So let us put it on a community radio education, and that will be far, far better than resorting to OTT, which is a global platform. So I said OTT will only help some branding for me, some identity, but it is not going to bring me my listeners who are my community people who are in a very close area. So I think we will have internet, 5G, and then we will have visual radio. That should be the purpose. OTT will only add to my branding. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sridhar. I like to emphasize the fact that you mentioned, because the community media, I use not only radio, it can be TV as well, but the community media is by community for community. So it is it has to be kind of a defined. So all other delivery mechanisms like the 5G and the broadband could complement some of the content that we deliver through over there, that radio broadcasting by the community group who produce them and then deliver to that specific community. But most of the people they believe, especially the radio broadcast industry, they do not believe the radio broadcast is going to die, because there are lots of statistics to say that there is the resurgence of they are listening, because that's what has happened even in the television. Because of the OTT, the ODR and the free-to-air service and so on has gone up, because they give a clue to what is better now. So at the beginning there was a change, but they find that one. And there was a question around what role and the online can do. Thank you for highlighting that as well, Dr. Sridhar. I think both UNICEF and UNESCO, they have research, and they have what's called the COVID-19 tracker, and they recognize that the radio broadcasting has helped quite a lot globally during the pandemic, COVID-19, to sort of come in rescue to enable so that our kids, those who are locked in homes, still they could learn at home rather than not having anything. So let me thank you once again, Dr. Sridhar, and then move on to the last, the panelist, Mr. Pokral from Nepal, and he's looking at the welcome to the panel discussion, and then we look forward to hearing from you, like how the community media helps the social development aspect. I think that's one of the key things that the community media does, because that's by community for community. So it is about the society and the social aspect. So over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, AIBD, for organizing such an important event. We are celebrating the Old Radio Day, and the theme is New Old, New Radio. As the old change, we have to change our system, our technology, and our other approaches. And the community radio are changing their system, their approaches to reach the large number of listeners. Thank you for giving me opportunity in such an important event. I would like to share one data from Nepal. According to the last census report, only 50% of the population do have radio set. This is the census data. And according to the last media survey, for more than 70% of the total population, the main source of information is radio. So in Nepal, the radio listeners are increasing, but the tools they use is changing. As I mentioned, only 50% household have radio, but the radio listeners are more than 70%. In that way, I would like to highlight that the people started to listen the radio through different means, through mobile application, through podcast, through online system, etc., etc. And I would like to thank you very much for Wei, as he mentioned that it's possible to add the visual component in the radio. And I would like to share some information from Nepalese community radio. There are more than 360 community radio in Nepal. And out of the 77 districts in Nepal, there are more than 35 districts. There is only community radio are only one means of the information, and they are serving as a catalyst. They are serving catalyst role for information dissemination, and they are protecting the right to information to the rural people. So it is very important to have the knowledge, to have the system, to know how they change the traditional broadcasting system to the modern broadcasting system. As we mentioned, there is a possibility to change the system. There is a possibility to add the visual component. We'll be very happy to work with such type of expertise, to work with AIBD. As I mentioned, in most of part of Nepal, community radio are only one source of the information. But there are some challenges, as we mentioned. In Nepal, there is no government regulation, no government policy regarding the OTT, and Nepal is formulating the new media policy, and we are in the stage of formulating new media policy. This is the right time to advocate, to put some of the OTT related legislative information, legislative component to this media policy as well. I again highlight that we are very we are waiting for such type of technology, and we will work together. It's very important event, as there are 360 community radio stations, and it will be better to organize a joint capacity development event. And through ACORA, I would like to put my commitment that we will circulate all of the community about this technology, about such type of system, about such type of process, such type of technology. After that, I will seek support from the expertise like we and AIBD as well. Thank you very much for giving such type of opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for bringing the Nepal perspective, because our region, Asia Pacific region, is quite diverse, and every country is different in geography, social development, economic development, and many aspects. So that sort of changed the way that how the delivery networks to be develop, how the signals can be done. So I could understand that the one reason why in Nepal, because of your very hard terrain, the mountainous nature, it's hard to have sometimes over there for larger coverage, and then some are complemented by other means. So definitely the other methods will do that, and then so we can have more discussions later on this in our future events. So thank you very much for your contribution into the panel. Well, yeah. Nabil, you want to?
Yes.
Take the.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Amal. I would, I had just mailed you some questions. So while we are starting this question answer session, I would just like to ask one thing from all of our participants, that 2021 is a very special year. Do you know why? Especially related to radio. If people can write on the chat box, 2021 is a special year. Why? Any idea?
So 2020 is the year of March and 2021 is the year of vaccine.
That is related to COVID, but related to radio.
100 years of radio.
Okay, that I wasn't considering at that time, but 2021 is the year when the world will be observing the 10th edition of World Radio Day.
Okay.
So on, so we, like always, we are observing this World Radio Day, and this year the theme of the World Radio Day is New World, New Radio, with the tagline of evolution, innovation, and connection. AIBD would like to offer this opportunity to all of our participants and our members and partners to mail us their stories, whatever they are doing for World Radio Day, any event, any function, any program. We will be happy to highlight it on our website and in our broadcaster magazine. And we would also like to have some video testimonials from you. You can mail us at training@aibd.org.my. So we will be waiting for it. And happy 10th edition of World Radio Day. So before we start this question answer session, may I ask all the panelists to, everyone is on. So can we have a group photo first, and then I will push all the participants into the grid, and we will have a group photo with the participant while we are having the question answer session. So guys, oh wow, Rob has a partner. All right. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Let me just check.
One more time.
Yeah.
Get your picture, little socks. Look at the camera.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Thank you
Famous.
very much. And Dr. Amal, the grid is all yours, while I'll push all the participants to the grid. And if any participant would like to question himself or herself, kindly raise your hand, and we will allow you to unmute yourself, and you can turn on your webcam and ask any question from the panelists. So Dr. Amal, again, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Nabil. So we have got so many questions from our participants. So let's try to do our best, what we could help clearing their questions with some answers. So how I would do that, I will read the questions so that everyone do hear what the question is, and then I might direct that to one of the panelists, or if anyone wants to make any comment, you could sort of raise your hands, and then I will give the floor to you as well. So the first question is, my question is how community radio played a crucial role giving right information at right time, busting myths, stopping misinformation during this pandemic. So this is about the how do you have some sort of control over what information is delivered through the radio network. Yeah, so who would like to give a comment on that? Okay, Dr. Sridhar, yeah, please, go ahead.
It's the commitment of the station people, the people who manage the station, to give the right information collected from the right person from that area, whoever is authorized to talk, whoever is giving the right information. And it so happened, of course, there are some projects UNICEF has sponsored, the government of India's health department has sponsored, but basically the commitment of the community radio personnel took care of avoiding fake news and correct information. And India is a shining example today. I think many researchers are going on today how India has come out of the pandemic.
Yeah, that's right. I think
Community radio has played a major role in it.
Yeah, because I think the community radio, community TV station, they played their role because they also govern under the other rules in the land, so they cannot disseminate misinformation or disinformation. So I think they took that responsibility in a greater sense and done that one. And there is another question I'll ask the same time, Dr. Sridhar. So one is asking, what role community radio play in teaching online courses? So can you be short and...
I'll tell you. Normally, there is a proof, you yourself said some time back, that there is a research going on how radio is reviving itself. There is also another basic fact that teaching is better. Teachers become learners, listeners become learners by listening, not by watching. By watching, you are projecting one view, one person's view, one person's image. By listening, each listener has got their own views, their own things. They can listen carefully and they can do other work also. And then unless you give a very good, rich video program, please do not try to use the video for useless talk and learn lessons. Use the audio, which bandwidth is low. Even 2G phones will receive audio. Therefore, I think we are doing some experiments in India, where even the NCRT is doing some experiments. I think wherever there is no visual is needed, science, engineering, medicine, professional courses, whereas language, arts, music, fine, please use the video.
That's right. That's true. That's true. Because otherwise, the cost of the bandwidth delivering those pictures will not be justified. It may work for some of the science areas where you want to show some pictures, the videos, the
animation, graphics.
Yeah, that works well, but not. So you need to pick for the right subject. Thank you, Dr. Singh. So there's a question for Mr. V. Asking, what is the best way to deliver live audio from home to studio?
Live audio?
Yes. The question is, what is the best way to deliver live audio from home to studio?
Actually, it's delivery way is two-way. Actually, usually audio can be much easier because of the bandwidth is much less, but usually most of delivery method is bundled with video audio together. If we kill the video parts, then the bandwidth is very limited to the 110K to 150K. So there's a transmission with the RTMP, which is delivery of a video and audio, but we can just eliminate the video parts to transmitting, then actually audio part is working okay. So that should be very good for clearly here for the audio side.
That's right, because we do these kind of tricks sometimes when we are running a Zoom, because even this Zoom webinar is a kind of a learning process for some of the participants. So when sometimes we find it difficult for people to get connected, we ask to disconnect the video so that the bandwidth is efficiently used for the audio. Thank you, Mr. V. So there's another question. My question is about monitoring of OTT platform as a government regulator. So I think this question, if Mr. Rahman could tell a little bit about that in a few minutes, because you highlighted about that OTT regulation. Yeah, you need to unmute, Mr. No, you're still muted. Nabil, could you help? Right. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes. Okay.
Your
Before going to last question, I would like to add some thing with the Sridhar regarding the disinformation. Okay. Basically, disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation basically come from the social media or other media, and other information called myth, basically societal myth, or come from the society. So first of all, community radio broadcaster need to identify the real misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, and as well as the myth as a issue. Then slowly develop a counter narrative with the consultation of the local administration and as well as community radio's gatekeeper, and then broadcast it. Then it is very much effective to contribute to the stop and also develop awareness regarding malinformation, disinformation, and as well as misinformation, and also community negative myth in line with the development matter. Okay. Now I come to the OTT platform. So nowadays OTT platform basically uncensored from Bangladesh side and also most of the country. There is no curating system or like this. So now Bangladesh government has already decided to develop a one OTT policy, because OTT policy not for the radio or television. OTT platform utilized by many stakeholders, many stakeholders. So for betterment, better operation, so Bangladesh government decided to develop a one guideline for the OTT platform. So it is now on the way to drafting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your update. It's good for other community media operators, broadcasters to know that, because how they need to perform, how they need to sort of filter, and then the responsibility they need to take while they are sort of disseminating any information, so that they are not detrimental to the society. So that's the true and then sort of validated facts and information.
Yes.
So thank you once again. So let's move on to the next question. So there was a question: what is the basic difference between OTT and CTV? Did Mr. Wee, you use the abbreviation CTV? Maybe community TV, he's asking.
Okay, I'm not sure about what CTV means, as you say. It's a meaning of CTV.
Did you use the CTV in your presentation?
Community television. Community television.
Oh,
yeah. So that's right.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay.
So the question is OTT and yeah.
Okay, the definition of OTT is greatly exaggerated. When people say OTT, they say, "Oh, I saw Netflix, I saw some movie." So when they say OTT, they usually saying about the watching entertainment or a movie like from the internet. But actually, so OTT is much widening. I will show you one graphic that I need to be explained if I am allowed to. Can I?
Yeah. While you are picking, let me explain the term OTT, because the term OTT is defined in the broadcasting field as well as in the telecom field. So over the top is the abbreviation OTT, and the over the top means the content are delivered on some other platform. So it does not belongs to the content provider and has no control over that. So the community TV is completely different, because the community TV has the full control with the community TV provider. So back to you.
Yes. Just a second.
Yeah. Community TV is completely different, because the community TV has the full control with the community TV provider. So back to you. Yes.
Give me a second. Okay, here. Can you see the picture?
Yeah, we can see. Yeah. So
okay. when we say community OTT, usually when the meaning is OTT major. In there, you see the Netflix, Prime Video, HBO. So movies in there. The OTT MVPD is like IPTV in the internet. Okay, so it does have a lot of channel, about 100 channel, something like that. So OTT has a 5 category by definition. Our position is in the bottom, OTT mini and micro. So what you are doing is you are generating micro TV using the internet as a delivery system. So you became part of OTT TV because of OTT is covering all area. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that's the difference.
Okay.
Not just the viewing, you are creating so people can watch anywhere, connecting with this TV station anywhere in the world using the internet.
That, yeah, so they provided that they have the broadband connection. Thank you, Mr. V. Right, so the next question is, as a traditional television TV station, what are the drawbacks can occur while joining the multiple OTT platform? So if everyone allow me to answer this question, I'll answer this question, because the question is about, as a traditional television TV station, what are the drawbacks can occur while joining with multiple OTT platform? I don't think it's a multiple. I think what the question, the one who asked the question mean by OTT platform, maybe like the YouTube, the Facebook. So if you join Facebook and YouTube, as Rob mentioned, you do not have any control over your content because you are given away, because we don't know where they are. But some of the content you could have in your control, and this also can be very nicely coupled with your terrestrial TV through what's called the integrated broadcast broadband, and this is used in Korea too, and it's in use for us in New Zealand. So it is possible to do that. So what need to be careful is, like Rob mentioned, so don't drop everything onto sort of a OTT platform, because we don't know, you may lose your content, because recently WhatsApp announced, because WhatsApp is another OTT service. They announced that they are sharing some of your content, data in coming years. So things like those could happen. So you need to be quite careful with that one. So let's move on to the next question. How can we maximize the benefit of technology but avoid all potential risk in line with programs, news production, broadcasting, and management? This is a very tough question, Mr. V. I'll read it once again. How can we maximize the benefit of technology but avoid all potential risk in line with programs, news production, broadcasting, and management?
Okay, can I answer?
Yes, please.
Okay, interesting happened last year because of pandemic. Do you remember you watching the TV before at the time? Most of things came from the TV studio and the field reporting and brought back to the TV station to re-edited. So everybody was doing very high quality reporting, but suddenly pandemic hit and you cannot stay in the station because pandemic prevented people to stay in home. So if you watch the US news, what happened is most of every program, the host is in the station, but all the guests is stay in the home. It connects by remote broadcasting. This technology was only used for the news broadcasting for the field operation. Now it's everywhere. Yeah. So this technology I'm showing today was actually applying this technology to the very small amounts. So what is the advantage of doing it? You can extend your operation very widely and very low price. The reason I did today's presentation was that system with what you have in your pocket became ENG system or switcher. So you can generate content from any way, any place with what you have right now. So if you have a good content, you can create the content working with the community radio or community TV to provide that program to the public. It was not able before, because before that time, actually, people had to have a very expensive broadcasting system. Now it is possible. So you are competing in OTT. You were actually competing with the broadcasting service before. Actually, there was no match. Broadcasting service has money, and they have ability to do very good quality. Now with this technology, you can match within the quality-wise. If your content is very creative, very innovative, actually, you can match with that. One case which I showed in the graphic was, there's a very interesting one segment. Okay, there was a singing contest in Korea, which was one camera was there, and it was funny. The singer was funny. It's normal people, normal local people. It played about 4.5 hours. Surprisingly, in Korea alone, 17 million people watched it. 17 million. Why? They liked it. The person in the center was one old people who became very famous because of that. He was a funny singer at the show. So that was the part of saying, if your local people wanted to see what their local people interested in, then people will come. They didn't have any method before. The video over audio is, they looks funny. Audio is listen is okay, but the video give more information, much easier way, and the younger generation prefer to have a video, even though they listen the music with the music video. So technology advance can help your station, not harming. How to use it, how to use that as a content is the key point, how to be useful in this area. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Mr. V. So there's a question coming from the audience, Mr. Dirwan Ashraful. I think he wants to ask a question. I think Nabil will on the mic for him. Are you there, Nabil?
Yeah, I have asked him to unmute his mic. Mr. Diwan Ashraful, if you are here, or if in the audience, if anyone else has any question, just raise your hand and we can unmute you. All right, and meanwhile, can we have our webcams on so we can have another group photo with all the audience, if it is possible? Not every.
Yes, possible.
Your picture. Come here.
Sometimes it's not very convenient to turn on the webcam.
Come here, little socks. Come here. Get over here. Okay.
All right. So let me just have the first click, because we have 3 pages. So just a moment. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. We have with us. All right. So first page, 1, 2, 3. Let me just check. All right. First click. First take OK. And now I'll move into the second page. So since no one knows who's on what page, so please be patient. So 1, 2, 3. Just a sec. All right, perfect. And now the third page, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So over to you, Dr. Amal.
Thank you, Nabil. I think it's good that you educated the participants that what they see on their screen is not what you see on your screen. Yeah. So that's a learning for them. And then do we have that the question? Or
I
not.
Mr. Devan is not there, so I think we can wrap up our session, right? And yeah, so thank you very much, Dr. Amal. Now I would like to invite once again Director AIBD, Ms. Philomena Nerabakasam, for her closing remarks. Over to you, Madam. You are on mute.
You're muted.
Oh, okay. She need voice.
Ms. Philo, you are on mute.
Okay, I was trying to unmute myself, but anyway, thank you so much. I think this has been such a wonderful discussion. Thank you, Dr. Amal. You did a wonderful job at moderating, and all the panelists, and also I think all the participants, because everyone is still busy chatting. So I want to say that we probably want to answer your questions after this webinar is over. So Nabil has a little bit of homework to take it and then, perhaps get the answers going. So we look into this. But what I also want to say is that AIBD is very passionate about reviving this and, making community radio and also radio still relevant in the years to come. It's the only, Nabil, you say 10th edition. I don't know why, because radio has been around for ages. I think it's a medium that is like a chameleon, right? It's always changing and always being relevant. And so what I'm seeing is we are ready to help you with coming up with community television, the ideas behind remote broadcasting, because we have industry experts sitting with us, and Mr. Jason Wee is with us, Dr. Amal is with us. And so we are very excited about the kind of things that we can do to create relevance and continued relevance for community radio and also radio. So please write to us. And we've given the AIBD emails multiple times. Send it to us, and we will help country by country and also region by region if assistance is needed. Of course, Bazlur Rahman, Balkrishna, Pokharel, Sridhar, all these people are going to work with us in terms of content and what we can do to enhance community radio. So I'm really looking forward to a community radio consortium, Nabil. Perhaps that is the final outcome from this entire discussion, so that we can then take this to a greater level. We can't just be having webinars like this. This is good, but we need to have something a bit more concrete so that we can come up with great ideas, and it's easier to get more people, policymakers and so forth involved when things are a bit more powerful. So let's start this and get more community radios to join AIBD as a member so that we can become stronger and get more assistance coming from all directions. So that's my mission for community radio. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
And sorry, it's going to be Spring Festival for Chinese, Korea. Mr. Jason Wee is also going to celebrate, right? So I'm going to wish all of you in Malaysia, we say Happy Chinese New Year, but I think it's Spring Festival. I know that, my good friend Elliot Kim Yong-il, he's also with us on Zoom today. So he said it's been wonderful. So also to him and to anyone else who's celebrating the festival. Right. In Malaysia, we celebrate everything, for your information. Thank you, everybody.
Mr.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Final say.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for listening my presentation. I was thinking about something like this for the other. In Korea, we don't have a community TV, but it was great honor to be in the AIBD's web presentation. I'm really thank you very much, and I'm very grateful to listen my poor English in this session. So please understand. So
you did well.
I wish everybody happy Lunar China. Let's say Chinese New Year, but
Lunar New Year.
Lunar year. So have a nice days. Right. Thank you.
And it's the year of the ox, which means that all of us got to work harder. So yeah, the year of the ox. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Philomena, and all the participants, and Dr. Amal for moderating the session, and all the participants who have joined us on Zoom and on Facebook. So yes, radio has been for more than 1 century, but I don't know why UNESCO realized that World Radio Day should be happening. I think it was on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of radio. So that's why it's the 10th anniversary, 10th edition. And on this 10th edition, AIBD, as Director Philomena has mentioned, that AIBD is having this huge gift to the radio community, to community radio community, that we can form a consortium of community radio where we can talk about, share knowledge, share our case studies, and talk about the futuristic approach, the tools, the technologies, and strategies. So you are always welcome to just mail us at training@aibd.org.my, and we will be definitely having some more of such kind of events. And happy World Radio Day 2021. What was the tag? New radio, new world, and new radio. So thank you very much. Bye.